Alright, so this is going to be a quick video showing you how to install and wire your eBay or Amazon passing lamps for a 2012 Street Glide. So usually when we get these, they're not wired, they don't come with a switch, so you're going to see them just like this. Your power wire may or may not be coming through the bolt right here. If it is coming through the bolt stem, there is a hole you can guide it through. Same thing with the ground. The ground is usually grounded inside to this stud, but this one wasn't soldered, it was just put in there and wrapped around, so I ran that through there as well. But I'm going to show you how I put the switch in and I got power to go to these lights, and I'll show you the final product once everything's finished, so just stay tuned. Alright, so first things first, on these bikes you want to have a actual power switch that goes to these lights. You can wire them into the headlight pin, which will give you power to them, but they'll be on all the time and they may or may not work with your bike. So to alleviate that, I actually went and I bought the Harley switch online right here for your spot lamps. And what you do is you just simply take off these fake little switch covers, and there's a bracket, and you don't have to do anything to the bracket except separate the little pins from these are individual. It's not one complete piece. Each of these are individually inside of this little bracket, so you just pop it out, pop the new switch in. Make sure you run your wiring above your forks right here. You don't want it underneath there because that's a pinch point. Next thing I had to do was I had to find the power to power the switch. Now, all of these touring bikes share the same harness. So the Road Glide, Road King, Electric Glide, and Street Glide all share the same harness. So they are from the factory already set up to run the passing lamp. So what I had to do was I had to toy around. At first I thought it was this. I stuck both my wires in there and I blew a fuse, so I knew right away it wasn't that. Now notice these right here, these are coming from the headlamp connector. So what I did was I just tested them. I put my ground on the black because that's the ground, and then your yellow is your power wire. And I put it on this orange and white striped wire right here. So what that did was that allowed me to have power to go to my switch, as you can see. So when I do the power, I have power to it. Next thing you gotta do, you got to find the power for these. So this is going to be your hot, this is going to be your cold. Like I said, this is going to ground into the spot lamp, but I took it off because it wasn't a good connection. I wasn't getting any lighting. So what I decided to do, this one's set up for the most part. I decided I was going to ground the ground wire into the blinker right here. So this is one complete harness. All I did was I cut the wiring off of the original blinker and spliced it up. This one's cut off because I was testing it last night and I forgot that I can't run this through the hole because of that connector. But what you do is you go ahead and you hook up that ground, and then you're just gonna have to turn the turn signal on, and you're gonna have to test which wire is which for the turn signal. When you turn the bike on, this should light up orange. If you turn the turn signal on and it faintly blinks, you know you have the wires reversed. You'll have to reverse those wires and it should stay on and blink at the same time with the remaining LEDs on this specific light. It should also do that with the hot and with the bright and the blinker filament on a halogen bulb. Next thing you'll have to do is you'll have to get bigger bolts. So the stock bolts that come with this, you can see on the original plate, it's recessed by about a ½ inch. With these, you can see there is barely a recess. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to pick up some bolts that are about a ½ inch longer. So these are 5/16 by 18 right here, 18 pitch. So these work perfectly and they are the right length. So another thing you want to do is right here, this is where I'm going to drill, because you don't want the wires coming up over because they're going to get pinched once you tighten this down, and it just looks ugly with the wires hanging out on the sides, and nobody really wants that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install the lights, get them aimed, and then I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so what I decided to do, instead of drilling into the part on the fork where the bracket goes, I'm going to try it this way. So all I did was I took my ground for the actual light and then for the blinker, and I just wired it to the wrong one. Okay, give me just a minute. I'm back. I originally wired it to the wrong wire, so I wired the ground to one of the hots for the blinkers. So messed up on my part trying to do this quickly, but what I did was I took the ground from, I soldered the ground to the light to a piece of wire, and I used a black heat shrink to show me, because I have a method going, black is going to be ground, red heat shrink is going to be hot, since some of my wires can be different colors. And what I did was I grounded the light wire to the blinker wire, from the light, and then from the light and blinker wire to the ground to the blinker harness, which is up here on the bike. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try and see which blinker light, or which wire is for the blinker and which one is for the steady burn. So what I'll do is should get power in just a second. I got to strip this down just a smidge. Okay. Hopefully it's in frame, so I'm taking the purple wire and I'm putting it to the white wire first. Okay, so that's going to be our blinker. You can tell what I'll do is connect the hot wire to it right here to the steady burn. You can tell, so that's the blinker. This is wired correctly. So if I reverse those and yours looks like this, then you'll know that you have those wires reversed. It does still flash, but it flashes very lightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wire these up and solder them, and this side will be ready for install. All right, so I go ahead and got everything soldered up. I got the light mounted. Went ahead and soldered everything and put some heat shrink on it. This actually did better than I thought right here, but once everything is all underneath the fairing and zip tied down, and of course this is going to get cut shorter right here, but I still have to find the right length. So like I said earlier, I have my switch wired, and then down here, this gray and black wire, this is my power, this is my hot wire. So I have the ground, the hot leading to the switch, and this is the hot coming from the switch. So when the switch is flipped, we should get power to the light. Go ahead and flip that on. And I just blew the fuse, so give me a moment to fix this. All right, so I'm about to change that fuse. This is the last 15 amp fuse I have, so hopefully I don't blow it again, but with the switch and everything, we should get power to the lamp, as you can see. So what we'll do is we'll do the other side, and then I'll show you how to connect both these lamps together so they fit into this right here. All right, so now I got both of the lights hooked up, I have both of the blinkers hooked up. Just to show you the blinkers real quick, just turn them on. I'll just do the emergency lights. There you go. So they're both wired up now. Now I'm going to show you how to wire the power to where it's split into that one. All right, so what I was showing you earlier, this here is the hot wire. It's the gray and black one that goes to the switch. And I'm not going to splice the hots from the lights into it. Instead, I'm going to splice the two hots together, and then I'm going to put the leads in like this, solder it down, and that's going to plug in. Very important that you put heat shrink around this or electrical tape, because if you don't, when this hits a ground, such as any metal on the bike or the radio, it's going to pop your fuse. So you don't be riding down the road and then just get bumped around, the wiring come loose, hit something and ground out, and then now you're with a blown fuse. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll get everything put back together, and I'll show you how the bike looks. All right, so everything's wired up. Decided before I clean everything, I'm going to go ahead and show you the lights and everything's still working. So we've got our hazard lights, and then both of our spots are up and running. So now I'm going to clean up all the wiring, and we'll put the fairing back on and show you how everything is. All right, guys, so got everything wired and put together. Everything went on fairly well. Took about 2 days overall. As far as man hours, I'd say about 4. That's getting the wiring where it needs to be, as well as picking up additional bolts and solder, heat shrink, things like that. So it's a pretty simple install once you get all the wiring hooked up the right way. Word of advice, so if you do decide to do this yourself, have a bunch of 15 amp fuses, because I blew probably 4 or 5 just trying to get the wiring in the correct order, because you know, if hot wire hits the ground, it's going to blow that fuse. But I'll go ahead and show you everything. So we got our turn signals that work. Will be left, will be right. They both work. Our lights work, and as well, this doesn't have the way it's wired, which is really neat. I have the option to use my brights without my passing lamps turning off. So hope you like this video. I found it informative, and be sure to hit a subscribe button, that subscribe button. Definitely hit that like. I've also got this right here on the back. I have my hazard lights, they're amber strobes, so I have probably 30 different patterns I can go through. Most of the time I keep it on steady burn, but you can see right here I have them wired up to the accessory switch. So if that's something you'd like to see, how to wire the accessory switch to hook up different accessories to it and not just lights, then definitely hit me up and I'll do a separate video on that. But overall, I say she looks pretty good now. So thanks for watching.